For today's lesson, we're going to discover how we can figure out the area of a triangle. So what I want you to do is to get some grid paper, and I want you to make a large rectangle on your grid paper. Now, in my case, it's 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters, but it doesn't matter. Make a large rectangle, 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters, or something else. Once you've drawn it, I want you to put a dot anywhere along this top line. I've done 3 different dots. I've done this one here, and then I want you to connect the dot down to the bottom corners. So you could do it like this. You only need to do 1. I've drawn 3, but I only want you to do 1. You could put your dot almost in the middle. You could put it over to the side. It doesn't matter where you put your dot as long as you then connect it down here. Now you may say, why are we doing that? I'm going to show you in a minute. But before we do, let's just review something. The area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So in this case, this particular rectangle is 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So 10 times 6 is 60. So we know that the area is 60 square centimeters. Now, I want you to get your scissors and we're going to cut out this triangle. Okay, so now that you have a rectangle, you're going to put a dot anywhere along the top. It doesn't matter where. I'm just going to put a dot right here, but you can put it anywhere you would like. Next, you're going to connect that dot to the bottom corner using a ruler. And you're going to connect it to the other corner. So it doesn't matter where you put the dot, but you're going to connect it to the 2 corners. Next thing you're going to do is cut that out. So pick it up, cut it out, and again, you have to cut it carefully on the lines. So this was a 12 centimeter by 8 centimeter rectangle, and now we have drawn a triangle in it. Now this is where the fun begins. You're going to take your triangle and cut it out. Now I want you to take the remaining 2 pieces and see if you can place them on top of this triangle and make it fit. Now, it may seem difficult at first. Like when I look at this, I think, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to fit those on. It might require you to flip some things over. It might require you to do something different. It might require you to turn it around or spin it a little different. But I want you to try and fit your 2 pieces on top. I'm going to give you some time and we'll see who can come up with a way to make the 2 side pieces fit on top. And it will take you a few minutes. It will require you to flip them over, turn them around, but I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. So it took me a few minutes, but I was able to figure out a way to make the 2 triangles fit on top of the original. Now it involved some flipping and turning. As you can see, this one flipped. This one didn't just flip, but it also turned over. But you can see my original rectangle there. And you can see that when I did put them on top, it was the same. It took the same area. So when you're cutting a rectangle into 2 triangles, there would be 2 the same. Now you may ask, why would we do that? Well, if we know how to find the area of the original rectangle, we have to flip this one. If we know how to find the area of the original, which was 12 by 8, so 12 times 8 was 96, and we know that if we split this rectangle in half, it would be 2 triangles like this. That should tell us something about the formula for the area of a triangle. What does it tell us? Well, it tells us that it's the same as the rectangle, but it would get split in half. So that is our formula for area of a rectangle. It's the base times the height, but split in half. Okay, now that we've discovered that once we cut this out, we find that there are two equal triangles in every rectangle, we can come up with the formula for figuring out the area of a triangle. In this particular triangle, the base is 10 centimeters, and the height of the triangle is going to be 6. How do we know what the height is? Well, if you look here, the height in this case always starts at the apex of the triangle and comes down to the base. So this is the height. And you can see that the height is the same as the height of the rectangle. So you can see that this line here is the same as this line, which is the same as this line, and it would be the same as any of these triangles. It would be the same as this one, and it would be the same as that one. So now that we know that, and we know that there's two triangles in every rectangle, we should be able to figure out how to figure out the area. And I'm going to move this, and I want you to think about it for a second before I move it. I want you to think, what formula could I use to figure out the area of one of those triangles? And this is what I've come up with. We could do the base times the height, but that would give us the same as the whole rectangle. So then we could divide it by 2, knowing that there are two rectangles. So that is the formula for the area of a triangle. Base times the height divided by 2. So let's look at a sample. In this case, we have 11 by 5. So if we were to find out the area of the rectangle, we would do the length times the width, or the base times the height, which would be 55. But we want to know the area of the triangle in here. Now, based on what we did when we cut out our triangles, we found that these two outside pieces could fall on this middle one perfectly, showing us that there would be two triangles within this one rectangle, two equal triangles. So we're going to use the formula. The area of the triangle is the base times the height divided by 2. How do we know this measurement? Well, it's the same measurement as this one here, as you can see. So we're going to do base times the height, which is 11 times 5. Then we're going to divide it by 2. 55 divided by 2 is going to be 27.5 centimeters squared. So this is how you will work through your triangle questions. You will put the formula down, base times the height, and then you'll divide it by 2. Hopefully that is helpful. And if you have any more questions, you can ask me at our Zoom meeting.